don't believe in that anybody under the age of consent for sex should be able to have anything to do with changing their gender. There are still those, given the age we live in, there are still those who jump on you are now anti-trans because you don't agree with me. I don't believe in that anybody under the age of consent for sex should be able to have anything to do with changing their gender. I don't. I think that if you're too immature to have sex, you are definitely too immature to know whether you want to be a boy or a girl. I'm sorry, it's how I feel. But that doesn't make me anti-trans. That just means that's my opinion. However, in this day and age, because the trans were suppressed, and still are to an extent, I'm not allowed to have that opinion because therefore it would make me anti-trans. And it's the same with any label that is created. Jakey. This is why I love you. Moments like this. It's why I believe people need to go through therapy before they go through the medical transition, because once you start it, you cannot undo it. Yes. See, if I believe, right? Oh, no. Touchy subject. Remember, right? I believe that a teenager can question what they want to be. I think anyone under a teenager, I just don't. I just don't think they have the mental capability to do it. However, I believe a teenager can wonder if they are right within themselves and such. And then I think that if they want, let's say, a girl wants to be a boy, then I don't think that girl should be allowed to be addressed as a boy until she is 16 years old in England, because that's the age of consent of sex. So I don't think she should be able to. I think she should be able to dress like a boy. I don't think she should rap, because if she changes her mind, she's stunted the growth of her boobs. And I know that a lot of them rap to like hide the booby shape. But I don't think they should be allowed to go to school and be addressed as he instead of she. I think all of that should wait. And I think that if they do feel like that, they should go to therapy. Very much like what you just said, Jakey. Go to therapy. And I think that the therapy should be funded, obviously, by the NHS, by the school, by somebody. Obviously, I don't think the parents have to go private therapy. I think it should be given to them. I think they should go through extensive therapy from the minute they feel like it's that big of a deal until they leave school. And then once they leave school, I believe they need to start the whole process then with an adult therapist who specialises in that area. And then they can do the hormone treatment and they can do the therapy and they can do all that. And I don't think they should be able to be referred to as the opposite sex, the sex they want to become, or as non-binary, or they, or any. I don't believe any of that should happen until they are 16 years old in the UK. And I think in America, probably 18, because 18 is the age of consent. Like, I just do. I know that's not the way it is. And it is the way that I don't believe it. And it is what it is. Who am I to change the world? But that's what I genuinely think. But I get, like, kind of corrected for it. Like, I'm anti-trans. I'm like, no, I just believe that children's growth doesn't stop until later, so they don't know what they mean. And like Jake just said, once you start it, you change your body. The minute you start that hormone treatment, like your body alters, and if you do that too young, your body changes the pattern of growth that it should have had. Whilst you can stop taking the hormones and such, you will have altered the fact that certain female functions would have grown or certain male functions would have grown. So even if you stop it and it reverts back to its original form, it won't ever be the original form in the path that it should have taken. And I think, well, until we stop growing, until our bodies stop developing, I don't think anybody should be altering their body. You won't let a child go for plastic surgery unless they were in a horrific accident, because that's crazy. You're not allowed to get tattoos on children because it's crazy. So I don't think you should be able to genetically alter a child either. I think that children don't know what they want. Let's face it, one minute they're goth, the next minute they're a chav, then they're a bimbo. Like, they ain't got a clue if they want like a PP or a lady area. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't know. They don't know. They might have an inkling. It's like, you hear it all the time. Like, kids think they're gay and then later on they're like, oh, no, it's just a phase. It's like, just don't meddle with your body. I don't think anybody should. I still don't get the whole non-gender thing. I'm a they. Honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, Loki. I find the non-gender thing hard to wrap my head around as well. Like, it kind of, I think I'm born in the wrong era. Like, I think I'm a little bit too old-fashioned to understand it properly. Trust me, a lot of people don't. I get it to a point. What I don't get is people who transition, then come out as non-binary. I haven't spoken. So, excuse my absolute ignorance. What would be the point in transitioning if you're non-binary? Because non-binary is neither, right? So why does it matter what your body looks like?
I assume they would just prefer to have one part over the other, but they still don't feel like they identify as either.
She might have a point. She might have a point. Yeah, Tia just said, I don't know if the microphone picked her up. Tia just said she assumes that they might prefer the look or whatever of one type more than the other, whilst that doesn't mean that they feel completely like a female. Or yes, you heard. Okay, I'll stop it. But yeah, for me, honestly, the non-binary thing, I don't want to diminish it, because who am I to say what or what? But I don't get it. I don't get it. But I am so, obviously, I know, what was I going to say? Yeah, I'm so, this is a girl, this is a boy. Although I, swing both ways, I'm not very, up to date with changing my mindset of things. And it's not that I don't believe in non-binary. It's not that. I think I'm a bit too much of a science person without being smart enough to be a science person. I think I'm just a bit too practical. You don't have to, oh my God. I can never think how to say it properly. You are a male or a female. If you have male genitalia, you're a male. If you have female genitalia, you're a female. Yes, we have all the medicine, all the doctors, and all the knowledge to change male to female. But to not be either is in here, not here. Do you know what I mean? And I just don't get how somebody cannot be either in here. A gender is what your body is. You can be whatever you want to be personality wise. I'm obviously a very opinionated person and quite happy to say my opinions. Does that mean my opinionatedness is better than someone who's shy? Obviously not. We are all different. But that doesn't mean that because your personality is less mannish or less femme, it doesn't mean that you are not the gender you are born with, because the gender is male or female. Gender is boy bits or girl bits. Do you know what I mean? That's how I see it. Obviously, I'm quite old fashioned. I'm not well versed with all the new up and comings and all that kind of thing. And the problem is, when it comes down to it, it's a psychological thing, right? So it's it's got nothing to do with watching the news or being up to date on current affairs or intelligence in a way, or an educational intelligence, nothing like that. It's psychology and knowing the human mind. And usually if your mind does something weird or different or out of the ordinary of what it's programmed or meant to do based on your body, whether you're a man or a woman or whatever, then it's a mental health care kind of situation. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying it's a mental illness, because it's not necessarily, but it's a thing that's inside your head. Now, if you don't have that, for example, I'll give you a for instance, right? So how many people say they have bad mental health? How many people say they have depression or anxiety? Now, somebody who has extreme anxiety would look at someone with less anxiety and be like, you don't even know what anxiety is. Same with depression. And then if you have somebody, so you have super depression, you have mild depression. They're the ones who can't handle, like, these are the ones who are like, you know, they're at the end, bless them. They're really struggling. They are thinking end of life situations. Then you have your mild depression people who struggle to get out of bed and kind of like see doom and gloom in stuff they don't necessarily need to. Then you have the non-depressions who are skipping through the daisies, and they've never had depression, right? Now, I know depression is a mental illness, so just go with it, take it with a pinch of salt, but this is a good example. The non-depression will never be able to understand what it's like to have mild depression, let alone extreme depression. They just won't be able to comprehend it. No matter how sympathetic they are, no matter how caring or kind or thoughtful or intelligent or educated they are, they will never, ever understand it. Not really. They will just understand how to deal with it. They'll understand the logic behind it, but they will never understand what it is like to be that person or feel like that. And no matter what these two do, they will never be able to make this person understand, truly understand. That's how I feel with non-binary. No matter what is said to me, because it's just not in my head. It doesn't exist in my head. That thought process doesn't exist at all. So because I'm not even slightly in the non-binary area, no matter what people say to me, no matter how much they say it to me, no matter what words they use, although intellectually and educationally I could understand it, the actual feeling behind it and what it means and what it means to live like that, I will never, ever, ever be able to understand. So this will always be my opinion because I can't possibly fathom what it's like that. Do you know what I mean? Did that make sense? I like to think that made sense. As a trans person I follow, she went and did a video on Jubilee, and the video was supposed to be like a debate with a group of trans people on both sides, and a debate of like trans people in the army and people letting their kids transition. The video made her look like a bad guy, as she believes, like me, children couldn't make the choices of a medical transition because it is a form of body modification, therefore it is permanent. Right, exactly. Like, because I'm the same. I don't think that children should be allowed to be trans. I just don't think they should. Like, I don't think they should. And again, it's for the same reasons. Like, how do you know, right? Go with me here. How do you know that if a 15-year-old, Tia is 15, I think of her as a proper little lady. Well, she'll be 15 in like a week and a half. I think of her as a proper little lady. She knows her own mind. She knows what she likes and who she likes, and like she knows herself, right? However, I really knew myself at 15. Am I even slightly that person anymore? No. So if Tia came up to me and said, Mum, I think I'm a boy. I think I want to be a boy. I wouldn't let her because she doesn't really know. How do I not know? One, that she's not been slowly targeted by bullying. I don't know, and therefore feels insecure about herself. How do I know that autism isn't triggering anxiety and making her think this? And because of the day and age we live in, where it's all thrown into our faces, that it could be this, you could be gay, you could be trans, you could be non-binary, that children aren't like, oh, maybe that's where I belong, maybe that's where I go. So it could be that, it could be anxiety, it could be, what was the first one I said? Bullying. It could be body dysmorphia, but not because she doesn't like the feminine body. Maybe her feminine body is not growing the way that she wanted it to. Let's say she wanted a J-Lo or Beyonce body, and instead she's getting I'm trying to think of like pretty people, but Hayden Panettiere or something. Anyway, whatever. She's the girl in Heroes as well. She's got a slightly shorter, not stumpy because she's beautiful, but kind of like more she's not like hourglassy, do you know what I mean? But yeah, or she might have an Eva Longoria body. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're all like three very different styles, but maybe if she's getting the Hayden body, but she wants the J-Lo body. That could be body dysmorphia. But in the day and age we live in, to assume that if she goes, oh my God, I hate my female body, she must be a boy. It's like, no. And she won't know until she's like 18, 20, 25. Like at 15 years old.
Mind doesn't even fully develop till your mid-20s.
Say that again, Tia?
The human mind doesn't even fully develop till like your mid-20s.
Seriously, like you could just imagine like a golden aura shining from her right now. Like she's going to be so good when she goes to college. She's doing like psychology and stuff. Like she wants to be a child psychologist, right? She wants to be a child psychologist. Oh my God. But yeah. So therefore, why are we letting the human mind, which is very susceptible to everything, be choose and decide if they want to alter their body before they are even old enough to drive a car? Do you know what I mean? For me, I don't mind people want to have multigender, but don't cry, be angry when I call you by what I see you in my eyes. Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
That's another discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
That like I say bad, but I don't see it as a bad thing, but obviously they do. I have a bad habit of misgendering people. Somebody like Jake, who I met as Jake, I actually will never misgender because I met Jake as Jake. But if I met Susie as Susie and then Susie becomes John, I'm sorry, I'm probably going to call John Susie or say she a bunch of times. And when someone is non-binary, you can bet I will say she and he depending on what their body is. And I don't do it to be spiteful or mean or anything like that. I do it because it's just that's how my mind works. If that's how their mind works, that's fine. They do what they do what they think is right. This is how my mind works, so I do. And I never mean it with anything bad, but why is their opinion and their mindset more? Like, why does their opinion matter more than mine? Why does what they think mean I have to think like that? I can't think of what the word is. But yeah, so I'm literally the same. It's crazy that they have laws in place to prevent kids from getting tattoos and going hard in the gym because of obvious permanent consequences, yet is allowed because people cried out. Right! I'm going to read that again because I couldn't agree more. It's crazy that they have laws in place to prevent kids from getting tattoos and going hard in the gym. In the gym, when you're like a certain age, like 40, 50, you're not allowed to do the heavy weightlifting there, obviously, because it can damage your muscle growth. Because of obvious permanent consequences. Yet this is allowed because people cried outrage of human rights enough. I know. Do you think we should start like a petition about letting 15, 14-year-olds go like weightlift and like put the big buff men and stuff like that? And maybe if we shout it long enough and loud enough, it will change those laws. But yeah, exactly. Like you can't get tattoos. You can't go to the gym and do that. You can't get certain piercings. Like you can't even have sex before you are 16 in England, 18 in America. But you can cut off your boobs and penis. Because somebody somewhere decided it was inhumane to make them live in the body they were born in until they were a grown-up and can decide. Like, literally insane. Would you let her change her pronouns in that mental transition? No. She's... No. Would I let you change your pronouns? No. Absolutely not. When she is older and an adult, I wouldn't let her do it at 16. Either, personally, as her mother. However, the reason I say 16 all the time is because in England you can have sex at 16, so it kind of opens up a lot of that. I personally think it should be 18 or 21, and I don't think you should have sex until you're 18 either. But yeah, I absolutely would not let her change her pronouns. No. It's why therapy needs to be involved, is so they can make sure that it's the right option for the person. Yes, whilst the medical transition surgeries are lifesaver child people, it doesn't mean it will be for you. Exactly. The human mind is very complex. There are just so many things that your mind can trick you into thinking, you know? So to assume that a child knows, then that's just a bit insane to me. It's a bit insane. My pronouns are they, he, so call me what you want. Great. I'm so glad that he's in there because I'm really sorry, but I will forget. The other awkward thing is, the other awkward thing is when I meet a lot of you guys here, like, you think how many people... I only have, like, what, 2,600 followers? But that means if every single follower spoke to me and told me their pronouns...
Ain't no way you're remembering that.
There is no way I'm remembering 2,500 different pronouns when I can't even see you. Like, I don't even know what some of you look like. Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't even know if you dress like a boy or dress like a girl or... whatever, like there is no way. So to assume that somebody who meets people in fleeting passing, even somebody, for example, like Sylvana, it's like, how long have you been coming in here now? You obviously you disappear sometimes and then you come back. I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember that you're a they as well. So I'm like, the fact that there's a he there, I'm like relieved about that. But like, I'm just not going to remember because we just meet so many people here.